What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description, as well as my Webull referral link. All you got to do is join. Don't have to deposit $1. They'll give you a free stock. And everyone that went last night after my trailer video to go to Pooh's channel, left him a comment, a like, subscribe to it. I appreciate you guys so much. That's what we're about here, building this community. Want to thank Connor for sending me this over. And man, what an interesting video we have when we talk about Madden selling us a feature that they can't even keep right in their own trailer. Imagine that. When you're a kid, you're a child and you're trying to lie, one of the things you got to do is keep all your lies together. And EA can't even do this when they're selling us a product. Home field advantage only on the PS5, the Xbox One Series X, S. Every NFL stadium in Madden 22 is equipped with a unique home field advantage modifier that, when triggered, can shift momentum into or out of your favor when you're on the road in Kansas City and the deafening crowd delays your audible, so you'll be wishing you weren't in Kansas anymore. This is something we've asked to be put in the game for a long time. I know we copy God of War with Madden, not NCAA, but NCAA 14 had kind of a crowd rally that did this. It was really intriguing. But before we get into the trailer, let me just show you what Madden sold us, because it's interesting. When they talk about home field advantage, we think about atmospheres. In the original next-gen trailer, here you can see the crowd is replicated. Mr. Cheesehead there in the background. You see Tom Brady comes up to the line. You have all the atmosphere in the background. I'm going to show you this guy. He used to be a Falcons receiver running out of the tunnel. You've got everything there in terms of the pyro to deliver that NFL experience. And then the player movement. Take a good look at Christian McCaffrey here. Hand on the ball, extending it, and let's go and take a look at where we actually are, because to me, I think there's a big difference between, again, what we were sold last year going to next gen and what we're actually delivered this year. This is the track record with EA. I mean, I could show you guys some of the screenshots of all the times they sold us improved crowds and living worlds. I'll forgo that for the time being. But I want you to look at what's happening here and pay attention with that home field advantage. I know you're probably just blown away that you forgot about most of those next-gen screenshots, and you look at where we are now and you say to yourself, how is this even the game that they sold us? Well, it's not, but that's what EA does. They're better at putting together trailers than putting together video games, and clearly in this example, they can't even put together the trailer properly because they're selling you home field advantage, and they're showing the Carolina Panthers play at home. You can tell by the uniforms. You can tell by the stadium wall. Now, can you explain to me, if home field advantage means something, why when I look into the crowd, it's predominantly Buccaneer fans? Are you telling me this is dynamic crowds? That because the Buccaneers have Tom Brady and have more fans, now they'll just invade other stadiums? I don't know that that's the case. It's odd that it would happen this way. Right? I mean, let's be honest. It's not like the Carolina Panthers stink. Right? It's not like they don't have their own fans. It's not like they don't have easily a top 5 running back. It's not that they don't have a good team. Right? If this was one of the worst teams in the league, right, I could see the opposing crowd filled with the opposition's fans. This was a Jets game, just to throw a team out there. I could see it possibly happening. But to show it in this fashion with a Panther versus Buccaneer matchup doesn't make a lot of sense when you're trying to promote and hype home field advantage. Then again, if you actually pay attention to some of the details here, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. The fact that you've got mirrored animations in section 317, the guy holding his head versus down in the lower left-hand corner, the guy holding his head. We've seen these reused and repeated, dare I say, copy and pasted crowds and atmospheres and elements of the game for so long. A lot of times, I think, me especially, when I look at these things the first time, I pick up little details that seem repetitive or seem to be carried over from years past. But in many situations, going back to my intro, whether it's Pooh looking at the trailer, whether it's Connor looking at the trailer, everyone notices different intricacies with what EA does in regards to how poorly it's creating a football game. Right? Everyone has something different that's important to them. Everyone focuses on something different. Some people want that atmosphere. I know as a Colts fan, to be fair, the atmosphere at a Colts game, the atmosphere the Colts fans bring isn't anything dynamic compared to a Raiders game that, has the black hole, a Browns game that has the dog pound, right? Like, those are kind of iconic things in sport that you want to see replicated in a game. Right? The Panther Stadium, for example, they've got those big eyes at the end of the field. You've got the Buccaneers that have probably one of the more elaborate layouts in their stadium with the battleships. Not every team has something like that. So when we talk about, NFL football, when we talk about being a fan of our teams, every one of us, whether we want to agree with how the game is reflected in Madden or not, the sport of football teaches us all something different from the players and the stadiums and the atmosphere and the play calling and the players that we want. So everyone kind of looks at that differently. And in that case, some people you may say nitpick, other people may overlook things. But I think when you're going to sell home field advantage, particularly on a next-gen console, and before anyone says, well, maybe this is an old build, maybe it didn't have that, maybe this is a different console, guys, they build these games on dev kits. Even though next gen isn't on PC, let that sink in. Next gen is not on PC. They're building it on a PC dev kit. Somehow, they're selling you something that isn't even replicated in their trailer. To the point of people saying it's just a trailer, you nitpick, you overanalyze. Let me ask you this. Even the worst movies, they can make a good trailer from. Even the absolute most box office disasters have trailers that will make someone want to watch the movie. These Madden trailers generally don't want you to play this game. Because when you actually sit down and look at what's shown, you realize the product just isn't there. And I'll tell you right now, if you go back and you watch, just like every other time, the next-gen release of this game, the next-gen trailer, and you compare it to what we're actually getting right now, the differences are astonishing. I mean, in just the 4 or 5 images I showed you this morning, you can see some pretty significant changes between what we were sold and what we've been delivered. And dare I say, what we've been delivered looks strikingly similar to what we've continuously been getting. We were expecting a different game going to next gen, not only in how the game plays, but how the game looks. And what we're seeing more and more is we're not only not getting that, but we're getting this same recycled package of Madden's past, just rebranded, relabeled, renumbered, if nothing else, and sold to us as something brand new. In this case, with features they can't even uphold in the trailer. Love to know what you guys think about this. Appreciate you checking it out. I will be back in the week with more commentary.